Get ready, because today we're uncovering the top 3 ultra-rare dimes and Jefferson nickels that look ordinary but can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands. These tiny coins hide huge secrets, amazing history, and shocking values you won't believe. Stay until the end. The regular 1972 dime is a Roosevelt dime, showing President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the front and a torch with leaves on the back, and the U.S. Mint made many of them for everyday use, so most of the time these coins are only worth face value. But the amazing part is that hidden among these ordinary dimes are rare varieties and error coins that can sell for an unbelievable amount of money, enough to shock anyone who never imagined a 10-cent coin could be worth more than a car, a vacation, or even a down payment on a house. The reason these rare 1972 dimes exist is because, during minting, mistakes sometimes happened, and those mistakes created error coins that collectors absolutely love. Some of these errors include off-center strikes, where the coin was not lined up perfectly when it was struck, leaving the design shifted to the side. The more off-center it is, the more valuable it becomes, especially if the date is still visible. There are also double die errors, where the coin shows doubled letters or doubled numbers because the die struck the design more than once in slightly different positions. These double die dimes can be incredibly valuable, especially when the doubling is strong and clear. Some 1972 dimes struck with strong doubling have sold for hundreds or thousands of dollars, depending on how clear the doubling is. But the biggest excitement comes from the extremely rare no-mint mark 1972 errors or extremely high-grade examples, the ones graded by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC. A regular circulated 1972 dime is common and easy to find, but a super high-grade 1972 dime with no scratches, no wear, perfect shine, and sharp details can sell for hundreds or even thousands because collectors compete heavily for top population coins, meaning coins that are in the highest grades ever found. In some cases, extremely rare mint state 1972 dimes with strong details, perfect surfaces, and high certification levels can reach prices that go beyond what most people expect. Some have sold for several $1,000s at auction simply because they are almost flawless. Then there are the truly exciting, heart-stopping error dimes, the ones that show massive striking mistakes, broad strikes, double strikes, or even transitional or planchet errors where the coin was struck on the wrong type of metal. These types of errors can bring huge money worth thousands to tens of thousands because they are so rare that many collectors may never see one in person in their entire life. This is what makes the 1972 dime such an exciting coin to talk about in a video, because even though most people have handled many dimes throughout their lives, very few know that special versions of the 1972 dime can be worth a fortune. The idea that something small, light, and easy to overlook can turn into a treasure instantly captures attention, and once viewers hear that a simple dime can turn into thousands of dollars, they want to watch all the way to the end to learn exactly how to spot the valuable ones. For collectors and casual viewers alike, it feels like a thrilling mystery, a hidden world where everyday coins might secretly be worth life-changing money. The history of the Roosevelt dime series also adds to the story. Roosevelt dimes began in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death, and they have remained one of the most familiar coins in America. By 1972, the coins were no longer made of silver but instead were made of copper and nickel. Even though the metal was no longer precious, the errors and special striking varieties created natural rarity, and rarity is what drives coin values. The huge difference between a normal 1972 dime worth 10 cents and a rare one worth thousands shows how unpredictable coin collecting can be. It teaches viewers that condition matters, rarity matters, and mistakes made at the mint can turn into incredibly valuable treasures. Imagine pulling a 1972 dime out of a coin jar, looking at it closely, and realizing it is off-center, doubled, or so perfectly preserved that it looks like it never touched a hand. That discovery could change everything. It could make someone realize they just found something worth far more than they could ever expect from a coin so small and common. That feeling of surprise, excitement, and possibility is what keeps people searching through their change, hoping to uncover a dime like this. If you want to check your own 1972 dimes, it's simple: look carefully at the date, look for doubling, check for strong details, check the edges, and make sure the coin is not worn or scratched. If you see something unusual, strange, or extremely crisp, it might be worth getting graded. A professional grade can turn a good find into a highly valuable one. And that is the magic of the 1972 dime, a tiny coin with huge potential. It may be one of the smallest coins in your pocket, but in rare cases, it can be one of the most valuable. So don't ignore your change. Don't toss dimes aside. That small silver-colored coin could be your ticket to hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. And that's why the 1972 dime is one of the most exciting coins you'll ever learn about, because the next rare treasure could be sitting quietly in your hand at any moment. In this video we talk about why some of these nickels are so rare, why collectors love them, and how a simple coin you already own might be worth so much money that it could shock you. The 1990 Jefferson nickel is part of the long-running nickel series that shows Thomas Jefferson on the front and his home, Monticello, on the back. Millions and millions of these coins were made at the Denver Mint because they were meant for everyday use, so normally people think they are common and not special at all. And in most cases, that is true. A used, worn-out 1990 nickel is usually only worth its face value of 5 cents. But the amazing part is that a tiny number of these coins survived in incredible condition. A few of them were struck so perfectly that every detail on the coin looks sharp, bright, and clean, especially the steps on the building on the back of the coin. Collectors call this the full steps strike, and it is one of the biggest reasons a nickel can jump from 5 cents to hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Full steps coins are rare because most nickels are not struck with perfect pressure, and small details get blurred or flattened. Over time these coins also get worn, scratched, and damaged, so finding one that still has crisp steps is like finding a little treasure hiding in your change. And it gets even better. Some 1990 nickels have sold for huge prices when they were graded by professional coin grading companies such as PCGS or NGC. Grading companies check the coin under strong lights and magnification and give it a number grade that shows how perfect it is. Grades go from 1 to 70, with 70 being the best. A regular uncirculated 1990 nickel might get a grade like MS63 or MS64, and those coins can be worth a bit more than face value, but not enough to make anyone jump with excitement. But when a 1990 nickel gets a grade like MS66 or MS67 and also has full steps, that's when things get wild. One of these rare coins has sold for over $1,000, and another example, an extremely high grade, has sold for over $2,000. Imagine that, a simple nickel worth more than a brand new laptop, a vacation trip, or even a month's rent. What makes this so exciting is that these coins are not locked away only in museums. They are out there. They could be in someone's coin jar, in a family drawer, in a bankroll, or even in your own pocket without you realizing it. That is why so many collectors search through rolls of nickels and look carefully at every coin they get back as change. They know that every now and then someone will find a little jackpot. So how can you tell if you have one of these rare 1990 nickels? First, you want to look for the mint mark, which is on the front of the coin next to the portrait. That tells you the coin was made in Denver. Then you want to check the overall condition. Look for a clean surface with minimal scratches, no heavy marks, and a bright shine if possible. Finally, check the steps on Monticello, the building on the back. Under a good light or a magnifying glass you should look for clear, separate lines in the steps. The more steps you can clearly see without breaks, the better. If it looks perfect, you may have a full steps coin. That is what collectors want the most. If you think your coin might be special, it could be worth sending it to a grading service to get an official grade. A raw, ungraded coin might not sell for as much because want proof of its condition, but a professionally graded one could go from a few dollars to hundreds or even thousands instantly. The hunt for these coins is part of the excitement. That is why this story makes such a fun and surprising topic for viewers. It shows that sometimes the most valuable things are the ones we overlook, the tiny objects we use every day without thinking. The idea that a small nickel could secretly be worth a fortune is the kind of twist that makes people watch all the way to the end, waiting to find out exactly how rare and valuable these coins can be. Many people dream of finding treasure, and this is one of the few times where treasure might be sitting right in your pocket. This nickel teaches people that small details matter. A tiny difference in how the coin was struck can mean a massive difference in its value. It also shows viewers that coins are more than just money, they are history, art, and collectibles all in one. The Jefferson nickel series has been around for decades, but the 1990 D stands out because of these surprising high-value examples. Even though most of them are ordinary, the rare ones shine like stars. If you ever find one of these nickels in perfect shape, especially one with full steps, you could be holding something worth a huge amount of money. It might be the most valuable 5 cents you ever touch. And that is why you should always check your coins carefully. You never know when you might be the lucky person who finds a hidden treasure. If you enjoy stories like this, make sure to keep watching, because the world of coins is full of surprising secrets, and some of the most valuable treasures are still waiting to be discovered in everyday life. The moment people hear that a coin from 1919 could bring huge money, they instantly want to know more. They want to know why it is rare, how many exist, how to tell if theirs is valuable, and whether they might have one hiding in a drawer, a coin jar, or a collection they never looked closely at. The Mercury dime, which some people also call the Winged Liberty Head dime, was designed by Adolph A. Weinman and is considered one of the most beautiful U.S. coins ever made. The design shows Liberty wearing a winged cap, which many people mistakenly think is the Roman god Mercury, and that's why collectors call it the Mercury dime. The reverse shows a bundle of sticks called a fasces with an olive branch, symbolizing strength and peace. These dimes were made from real silver, which already gives them more value than modern dimes, but silver alone isn't what makes the 1919 Mercury dime so special. The real treasure comes from rare mint marks, rare conditions, and especially high-grade examples that survived perfectly for more than a century. In 1919, the U.S. Mint made Mercury dimes in 3 places: Philadelphia, which has no mint mark, Denver, with a small D mint mark, and San Francisco, with an S. Of these, the 1919 D and especially the 1919 S can be extremely valuable in high grades. Most 1919 dimes were used heavily because people needed money during that time, and nearly all of them became worn down, scratched, or dull from everyday use. That means that finding one in perfect condition today is like discovering treasure from the past. Some uncirculated 1919 Mercury dimes, especially those graded mint state 65, 66, or 67 by PCGS or NGC, can sell for thousands of dollars. High-grade 1919 S dimes can reach tens of thousands at major auctions because they are so incredibly rare. Imagine holding a dime with sharp details, bright silver luster, and perfect surfaces. That tiny piece of metal can be worth more than a brand new car. And it gets even more exciting when you look at full band examples. On the back of the dime, the fasces has horizontal bands, and if those bands are completely sharp and fully split, the coin gets a special designation called full bands, FB. Full bands coins are extremely desirable because they show the coin was struck with strong pressure and survived without those delicate details getting worn away. A 1919 S Mercury dime with full bands in high grade is so rare that collectors will pay massive amounts of money, sometimes tens of thousands or more, just to own one. A regular 1919 dime might only be worth a few dollars, but the full bands versions can skyrocket into unbelievable price levels. This huge price difference is what makes viewers stay locked in until the end, because the idea that such a tiny detail can turn a common dime into a fortune is almost unbelievable until you see it with your own eyes. And there are also rare error coins from 1919, off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and more. These mistakes happened when the coin press misaligned or something unusual occurred during minting. Error coins from the early 1900s are especially valuable because they are much harder to find today, and some of them can easily reach thousands of dollars depending on the size of the error and the condition of the coin. Collectors go crazy for old errors because most were taken out of circulation long ago, meaning every surviving example is a tiny miracle. The age of the coin also adds to the excitement. This dime was made at a time when the world was recovering from World War I, long before modern technology, long before plastic money, long before the world we know today. Every 1919 Mercury dime is a piece of American history that survived through wars, depressions, generations, and massive changes in daily life. The fact that some of these coins still exist in perfect condition is almost unbelievable. That's why high-grade pieces are so valuable. They survived when almost none of their sisters did. And that is exactly why this story is perfect for a YouTube video. Viewers love the idea that a tiny coin, something they might find in a family collection or a random old jar, could be worth thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. The mystery, the rarity, the hidden value, and the history all combine to create excitement from the very first second to the last. You can feel the curiosity pull people in. What does mine look like? Could I have one? What should I check for? It becomes interactive, fun, and thrilling for everyone watching. To check a 1919 Mercury dime, you look for the mint mark on the back near the bottom. Then you check the condition. The sharper the details, the better. Look at the bands on the fasces. If they are full and complete, you might be holding something truly special. Even slightly worn coins can still be worth money, but a mint state, high-grade, full bands piece is the dream find. And that's why the 1919 Mercury dime is such an amazing coin. Small, old, beautiful, and in the rarest forms, worth an incredible amount of money. It proves that even the tiniest treasures can hold huge value, and the next rare dime could be hiding right in your hands without you knowing it.